What's up, everybody? I guess coming to you from my tactical kitchen that I always seem to talk in. Want to do another recap of nationals. I just came back from Two Gun Nationals in Vegas just a week or two ago. Getting the gear, putting it away in the safe, thought it'd be a good time to go over it. Last couple gear review videos, people have mentioned they wanted a little bit more detail, especially if they're not coming from the tactical space or the competition space. So I figured I'd do a little bit more in depth review this time, so it may be a little longer than normal. If you hate it, feel free to scroll. But I did come back from Two Gun Nationals, specifically PCSL Two Gun, just a few weeks ago. PCSL, for those who don't shoot two gun, is pretty much USPSA with more than one gun. It is a points over time style scoring, hit factor based scoring. So it's a long field course. You're hitting as many targets as possible in the shortest amount of time as possible. PCSL Two Gun specifically limits distances and target sizes. So really for rifle, you're engaging from 10 yards to 200. Targets aren't any smaller than 16 inches at that 200 yard distance. So pretty achievable even without a magnified optic. However, obviously magnification can help. It runs two different divisions, competition and practical. Competition division is what I shoot. Competition division allows you to have like porting on your handguns, bigger magazines, allows you to run muzzle brakes on your rifle, larger magazines, lightweight bolt carriers, and it lets you sub for PCC, which is a pistol caliber carbine. It's a AR that's just chambered in a pistol caliber. So I shoot competition division. Practical is more practical. So it's more of an normal handgun, normal size magazines, not too fancy on the rifle, standard, looking AR-15 with no real bolt-ons for the most part. So I do shoot competition division. So I actually flew out to Vegas with 3 firearms. I did bring a PCC to sub into, and then obviously a handgun and a normal AR-15. So figured I'd kind of cover the gear that I used. Would love to hear y'all's feedback as I build a new rifle for next year. I'll start with the rifle in typical Grand Thumb fashion. I will cover this like tip to butt here to kind of give you an idea of what I use. This upper here is actually a completed upper. It was a Brownells upper. It's a WWSD 2020. The idea behind the upper and the whole rifle, I did buy the whole rifle to begin with, is that it's what would Stoner do in 2020 if he had, all new technology to his, within his reach to build the AR from scratch. And so what they came up with is a super lightweight rifle. I've changed a few things. I've changed the lower to be a little bit more better for me. So I figured I'd kind of cover that. Starting at the tip here, I am running an unrivaled brake. This is, I believe, their Sage brake, I believe. So it's shooting gases sides, backwards, as well as out the top. It keeps this gun incredibly flat. Follow-up shots are super quick. Muzzle's not moving very much, so you can stay on target and shoot faster. It is connected to a Faxon pencil barrel. Faxon is known to have really reliable pencil barrels. I've experienced that very thing. It doesn't have any barrel whip, no deviation under heat. Getting 1 MOA groups, so out to 200 on a 16-inch target, really leaves nothing, lacking there. It does have a mid-length gas system, and then a Faxon carbon fiber handguard. It's got M-lock all the way around, no Picatinny, nice and slick. It's also just super lightweight. The only thing I have attached is a sling point for when the stages do require a sling. The upper itself is a slick upper, so it doesn't have a forward assist, leaves it nice and lightweight. I have some feedback I'll bring back on that one. But other than that, just a pretty generic upper. Running a Radian charging handle. Love Radian's parts, very reliable, but also just like the touch points available. Up top for glass, I am running a Primary Arms SLX 1-8. Been pretty impressed with the Primary Arms. It's got a generous eye relief. I'm not a glass snob, so I'll be honest, I'm sure I know there's better stuff out there. I've been happy with the 1-8. I really never went past 3 magnification at nationals. So maybe you don't really need that high end of 8 at least in PCSL. And then I do run a Hollow Sun 507 comp as an offset for when I just need up close and personal. And then I just rotate to the magnified optic, throw it to where I need it to be for those longer shots. For 200 yards on a 16 MOA target or 8 MOA target, it's really not hard to pick it up even without magnification. Me in particular, I wanted to run magnification. I was running an EOTech with a magnifier, and I just noticed a little too much shift in my zero, so I wanted to move past that and just decided to just go with an LPVO. It makes me a little bit more confident in my holds. Couldn't have probably asked for a better setup this year, so I was pretty happy with this. It's just on an Aero Precision, low profile mount. Probably do want one with a little bit more cantilever just to move that optic a little bit more forward. I'm pretty maxed out on my Picatinny slots as it sits. For a lower, I'm running an Aero Precision lower, just a basic mil-spec lower. I do have the HRF Designs bolt-on magwell just to make reloads much easier while on the clock. Running a Hyperfire trigger, Radian safety, and then B5 furniture, so B5 Systems grip, and then the B5 SOP mod. It's got a huge cheek weld, so getting behind the rifle, it's super easy, nice and comfortable, but also very, very consistent to get into that eye box for the magnified optic. For a sling, I've been running the Savvy Sniper sling. Really enjoy this. It's got elastic to it, so it can give if for whatever reason it's not adjusted properly. And then it's also got a really nice big loop to just shove your thumb in and rip it to get it really tight. We only had one stage that required a sling this year, so really not a big deal, but really happy with the one I have. And then I run just normal Magpul 40 round magazines. Plenty of capacity for the match. I do run a 30 round magazine for reloads just to make the reloads easier, but the 40 rounds a great starting mag. Overall, great rifle. I am gonna build a new rifle for 2025. There's a couple things that I'd wanna change just to make it a better shooting gun. First off, the unrivaled buffer and brake, I'm gonna do that over again. That's awesome. They've worked really well, but to make that perform better, I am gonna run a lightweight bolt carrier. Right now I'm running just a standard weight bolt carrier. I'm on order for one of their titanium lightweight bolts and bolt carrier. So I'm gonna be excited to run that. That should leave that reciprocating mass or lower it. So that way it's just not as much felt recoil. And then just to make it run better, I'll do an adjustable gas block, probably the Superlative Arms adjustable gas. Not having adjustable gas didn't leave it unreliable, but what it did leave it is it was super, super overgassed. So I would like it to run a little bit better, more efficiently, and shoot flatter. So adjustable gas and lightweight bolt carrier. Optics, love these optics. I'm gonna stay with these. Probably gonna go with an ambi lower, looking at Griffin Armament, and just gonna go with them for the next year. Hyperfire trigger, love it, not changing it. However, it does not play well with the Radian safety. Going back on safe is very, very hard. There's a lot of resistance. Coming off, it's super easy, but going back on safe before I throw it into a barrel, switching to handgun, definitely makes it like not efficient. It's not like it won't go, but I just think it could be easier. So gonna play with the safeties to see what works best with the Hyperfire, and I'm gonna go from there. But that is the rifle setup. I probably will do a larger mag. I'll probably stay with the 40s, but I'll probably do like a Terran extension on it just to give a couple extra more rounds. There were 1 or 2 stages that I did run a little close on round count. Other than that, love the rifle, great work, great optics. The other rifle, I've went over it before, and that's just my Terran Tactical Stinger. This is a PCC, so it's an AR-15 platform, chambered just in 9mm. Nothing has changed from factory from this gun. If you've seen John Wick, this is the same guy who builds all the guns in John Wick. So he's got BCM furniture, Magpul, Hyperfire trigger, carbon fiber handguard with a pin and welded 13.7-inch barrel. Just running an EOTech on here, and it's got, Radian controls. I've gone over this a few times, so I probably won't spend a lot of time on it. I do run both MBX mags on this. Also, I do run the longer 33 round mags with the plus 11s from Heron. So like I said, I've covered this. This one's great. It was awesome switching back and forth between the two. If I don't have any shots really past like 50 yards, I ran this. When I had shots over 50 yards, I did run the normal AR-15 that I covered first. For a handgun, this is something new for this year. I ran a Masterpiece Arms DS9 hybrid. This is an aluminum gripped 2011 style pistol. It's got their big mag well. You're not really missing reloads there. I did get this one in black with a bunch of 10 gold coated parts, running a Hollow Sun 507 comp here on the top. This one does have probably just two things that I've changed on it from factory, and that's actually got a second barrel fitted from MPA and got it ported. So it's got porting on both sides. It shoots incredibly flat by shooting the gases up, and it just recoils really nice. Really well running pistol, great feeling. I'm glad I got this from them. And then I also had a nitro fin. So that's just a thumb rest that replaced the slide stop. So just an extra index point as I come forward to get a nice good grip, but also control that muzzle flip where it just comes nice straight back, straight forward. I run MBX mags here. As a part of being competition division, I can run the 171s. These are the new X7s from MBX. So they actually hold 30 rounds. So 30 plus 1 capacity. Great starting mag. Not a ton of reloads when you have that many. But for those, when I do have reloads, I do have normal 141 magazines for reload mags, or if the stage just doesn't require that many rounds. MBX makes great quality stuff, and it plays really well with the MPA. For MPA, the one holster, the one thing that I did do that was probably a little different than most at Two Gun is I actually do run a raced holster for this. So covering my gear, the holster is actually on a different belt right now, but it's an Everglades holster. The Everglades holster is just a race style holster that only covers the trigger guard here. So by just covering the trigger guard, it makes it really easy on draw to kind of get that pistol out. You can see it's being held in by magnets here. So on the draw, it just actually comes right out once you defeat those magnets. Now, this isn't great to run with unlocked, but it's got a locking mechanism that once it's locked all the way, the handgun's not gonna come out. You have a half cock that allows you to defeat just with your finger as you go in. You can kind of come in, defeat on your way out. This ran extremely well. No complaints here. And PCSL, they can't force you to reholster on the clock. So the good news is that I don't ever have to worry about holstering and then flipping the lock on while running around. I'm actually just able to throw this into a barrel and keep going and keep trucking without having to worry about like it falling out, being unsafe. So overall, great handgun, great pistol, been very happy with it. To carry it, I had that holster from Everglades attached to a double alpha ratcheting belt with QVO tactical pouches. Went with QVO for a few reasons. QVO's pistol pouches have an adjustable mechanism here that allow them to fit any double stack pistol mag. So if I ever shoot Shadow 2, shoot another handgun, or the 2011, they work. I've got them attached to tech locks here on the back, which for Two Gun, it's important to have these removable very quickly because as the stage changes or your rifle changes, it's nice to be able to pop off these holsters really quickly and keep moving around with a different style. So for example, my reload mag here for the AR-15, it just looks just like this, and I can go in and reload right up from the bottom. But when I'm shooting PCC, all I do is I pop this pouch off and I replace it with a PCC pouch. So that way when I'm shooting a different rifle, I can just change the holster to match the rifle that I'm shooting. I do run a double alpha magnet. It's really not that imperative, but it's helpful for like unloads and stuff like that. 2 PCC mags and then a second AR pouch. And then the holster goes right here, but I have it removed for now. Outside of the gear and the guns, that's pretty much an all-inclusive review, or at least overview of everything that I used at PCC Nationals this year. It was a great run match, had a great time, met a lot of great people. This was my second year shooting the match, and I think I've really landed on some really awesome firearms to compete with. Only thing I'm changing going into next year is I'm gonna be doing an updated AR-15 build, a little bit more lightweight, better controls, and a little bit more control over the recoil and mitigating muzzle rise with a lightweight bolt carrier and customizable and adjustable gas block. But hopefully this was informative. If you have questions, let me know.